What's up? This is Chris with Get Optimize, and I want to give you a little bit of a view here of some data from an experiment we ran where we're trying to compare boosted posts and how those perform against engagement focused campaigns inside of the Facebook Ads Manager. And there is absolutely a difference. We actually found that boosted posts are much more expensive to get impressions, to get clicks, to get engagements than engagement focused campaigns. And we wanted to run this experiment just as we kind of, let me back up a step. We usually say, look, engagement campaigns tend to run better than boosts, but we always want to make sure we're headed down the right direction. Things change with Facebook. They kind of update their algorithm. They update the way they run ads. So, hey, let's run some experiments, make sure we're on the right track. And, the data ultimately proves everything to us. So that is why we ran this experiment. Now, what do we mean by boosted posts versus engagement? So when we think about a boosted post, that usually is this blue button over here on your post that you're seeing when you're posting stuff. Oftentimes when you post, Facebook will throw a pop and say, you want to boost this thing? You can also find the boosted post thing from the Meta Planner. You can boost posts from there. And that's actually how we ran these boosts. We pre-scheduled stuff and then said, hey, we'll boost it once it gets posted. And you can do that in Meta Planner. It's very convenient to do that. And that's one of the reasons why we ran this experiment too, was like, if we can pre-schedule out these boosts, that is kind of nice, right? It helps everybody. But when you run a boost, if you've ever done one, you usually see a screen that pops up like this. You hit boost, you're going to pick out some stuff, and it's going to tell you, what do you want your goal to be? And if you let the automatic run, that is an engagement focused. Usually it's an engagement. It ends up in like an engagement focused campaign structure. They're trying to get you comments and likes and clicks, any kind of engagement on the post. So when we run an engagement focused campaign inside of Ads Manager, it's the same kind of thing. Now, we're also, when we run our ads for engagement campaigns inside of Ads Manager, we are using the existing post as the ad. So there's an option, instead of creating an ad, back here you select use an existing post and you use the post as the ad. So we're talking about a very similar scenario here. It's the same idea. We're using the post, amplifying the post to more people, and we're trying to get more engagement. So apples to apples, these two things are comparable. But how did that work out with the data? So what we're looking at here on this Google Sheet is a couple of different accounts. We have boosted posts here. That's what these post 1, 2, 3s are. And then we have the overall summary of engagement focused campaigns. So other than the boost, let's look at summaries here. Now, the reason we did it that way is because really what I want to know is, like, what was our rate for getting performance? And there's 3 metrics that show that very well. There's cost per metric. That means cost per 1,000 impressions. It's how much, for every 1,000 impressions we received, the dollar amount for that. So that tells us how expensive it was to get eyeballs on the ads. Now, cost per click, that tells us how costly it was for us to get clicks on the ad, and cost per engagement is how much it costs for us to get individual engagements. The difference between clicks and engagements, clicks are sometimes like a link click, that can be part of it, but also like if it's a click to your Facebook profile or your Instagram profile, those can count as clicks as well. Engagements are like engagements, or excuse me, engagements are engagement stuff. Engagements are like comments, likes, hearts. In fact, 3-second video views can count. So if you've done a video post, you can get, if somebody watches a certain portion of your video, that counts. So the rate at which we are getting those things is comparable. The total is not so much, because ultimately, if you spend more on any given thing, you'll notice down here specifically, all of our engagement campaigns in this account for this time period, way more spend, and obviously there's going to be way more reach, way more impressions. So if we sat here and said, oh, which one performed better, which one got more reach, obviously these engagement campaigns got more reach because we spent more. But the rate at which we got those results is comparable, right? So what were the results? So in account 1, cost per metric for the engagement focused campaign was 12% less. So right out the gate, it's cheaper to get impressions. But when we start looking at cost per click, cost per engagement, significantly less. And this is very, very important. Like, we want engagements, we want clicks on these posts that we're putting out there. especially if we're pushing to like a Facebook event or a ticket page, anything like that. We want those clicks and we want those engagements and we want to get them for as good a rate as we possibly can. 78% cheaper with the engagement campaign, 95% cheaper for engagements for the engagement campaign. But maybe this was just the account. This one account had some skewed data, perhaps. Let's look at another account and see the difference. Cost per metric, 51% cheaper. So even more cheaper with this account. Clicks were 48% cheaper and engagements were 96% cheaper with the engagement focused campaign. So what this ultimately tells us is that boosted posts are more expensive and significantly more expensive than engagement campaigns. So moral of this story is, be careful about that blue button. It's easier to run. So there's absolutely something to be said about that. You can hit the boost, you can select your audience. If you've pre-built your audiences inside of your audience manager, okay, you're saving some effort there, but it's costing you, you're going to spend way more to get clicks and engagement on that and get impressions in many cases on those boosted posts than building your ads inside of the ads manager and running these engagement campaigns. You just get more control back there. And we've heard multiple times, I talk to colleagues all the time that are like, yeah, we just don't get as good results when we boost. So we got to run them in the back end. And this data definitely shows that. Now, is every experiment perfect? No, there's other scenarios here that could be happening, and I'd love to talk to you about them. If you have questions about your campaigns or how to set up engagement campaigns or boosts versus engagements, how to do this stuff in the ads manager, I would love to help you out with that and answer those questions for you. Reach out anytime. You can find us at www.gethoptimized.com. But for now, hopefully this was helpful. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. See ya.